right, welcome everybody to One Nation, a Sports Locker Magazine Extra. This is your host, Kirk DeMars, and I am excited for this program tonight. We've got a very, very cool person. I'm just going to say cool person. I mean, is that the right word to say? I don't know. But I'm going to bring on Jay and see if he thinks so. You know, he's got something to say usually, so we'll start off with Jay. Jay, was cool person, was that okay?
Cool person's totally fine. I mean, I think I'm hip enough. We could say rad. We could say, super lit,
Okay.
but whatever. Uh, no, well, when you talk to the students at Calvary Lutheran and they talk about head coach Kerri Morris, a lot of things they like to say is fantastic leader, awesome coach, and many call her a wonderful friend / mentor. Coach Kerri Morris has served as the cross country and field coach at Calvary since 2013. She's also the school's athletic director. Before coming to Calvary, she coached volleyball and track at Eldon High School. She earned her Master's of Science in Special Education from the University of Missouri. Kerri was an integral part in launching the cross-country program at Calvary Lutheran and making it a vital and competitive sport at Calvary. In the past 7 years, the team has grown to be competitive and in their conference and in their class. In 2019, the boys cross-country team finished third place at state, and after getting that bit of taste of victory, they knew that they wanted to push harder and reach for the gold. I'm very happy to announce that the Calvary Lutheran boys cross-country team brought in the first ever state championship for Calvary Lutheran this year. They finished the season winning first place in a tightly contested race, edging out Blue Eye by 6 points and Principia by 8 points. Head coach Kerri Morris is here tonight to talk about her role at the school and how epic of a season her team had. As I said, she's an awesome coach and a fantastic leader. Without further ado, I say let's bring in head coach Kerri Morris.
That sounds good. Here we go. Hi, Kerri. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me here. And what a kind introduction that was. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, he does pretty good with that. You know, we always talk, make fun about we should have smoke and stuff like that. You know, sound effects, but he does pretty good. We don't really.
He does a great job.
Good. Hey, thank you for joining us tonight. And wow, what a season you guys had.
It was, I think it's that season that lots of people coach and kids run a lot of years and never quite get to that point. So considering the obstacles this season, these kids are amazing. And it just shows the drive they had since they all started running. It's just a great year for them.
You had a really good group of seniors, as well as you have some really talented younger students that are in there as well. So I know we'll talk a little bit about that, but I'm going to go ahead and have Mr. J get started with our first question. Jay, if you want to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to hear more about your background and then about your positions as the head coach at Calvary and the athletic director.
Sure. Well, I grew up in a small town south of here, and like a lot of people, sports were just what you did. We loved it. We played ball all year. We ran. So I grew up doing that and went to Mizzou. And when I came out teaching, went down to Eldon first, had a good first year, and then had the opportunity to get a master's degree and came back out. And I've been blessed to work at Special Learning Center for over 25 years with infants and toddlers with disabilities. And it's very similar to coaching, where you're in kids to reach their best. There's a lot of physical aspects to it. Work with a great group of therapists who are sometimes get questioned for my own athletes' help. But so I've done that for a number of years. And in 2013, when I saw an opening that Calvary was thinking about having track, I kind of jumped on that. My husband and I have a long running family background. And we are always been supportive of Calvary's mission in building Christian leaders. And it was a great fit to get into that program. They'd had a JV year track. And then the next year when I came, we had our first varsity year and went to districts and things. And so I've been there since then. And we've also, my husband is the track coach at the junior high at Trinity. So the seniors, and I've jumped ahead of the game here, but they have been with Ty and I for a significant amount of their running careers. And I guess we didn't scare them off yet in junior high, that they stayed with us. And so that's been an amazing experience. These kids that were once fifth graders running down there to get to their senior year and hit what's kind of that ultimate goal and ultimate team goal. People forget how team-oriented cross country can be. It really is a team effort, and that was very true this year.
I know you've said a little bit, told us in some of the interaction that we've had, but the getting the cross country program started. I mean, tell us a little bit about that. I mean, I know you didn't have a lot as far as equipment and stuff that you had to really go out and do, but how did you get started?
Right. It was basically me begging the current AD at the time, who I give a lot of credit for supporting the idea, and the administrators, the executive director and the principal, supportive of the idea. We had a very talented young man in track my first season, and I could see where the possibilities lie. And my own biases is that cross country is a sport for a lot of people. They don't even know it's an option for them, but it's a life skill building sport where you can get the confidence, and it is not something you need a lot of equipment. I did go around and try to recruit that first year. I had some folks that didn't even know what cross country involved. A lot of parents didn't know. I had one, my favorite story was a young man, his very first race, that first season, we worked hard to build up enough mileage to get them ready. He kept asking me, how far is a race, coach? How long is a race? And I said, oh, it's fine. You're going to be fine. And he was literally in the starting box of our very first meet. And I leaned over and said, okay, it's 3.1 miles, but you're going to be fine. And he ran that race. He got across the line. He looked at me and he said, that was awful, but I'll be back to do it again. And that's one of those reasons of why I coach. It was kids who never run cross country before. And so I just think it is a sport that a lot of people, you keep at it and you can keep improving and you can do it. It's, a lot of abilities, a lot of personalities can take country.
Now, I'm sure you've seen the movie called Overcomer. Have you seen that?
No, I actually have not seen that one yet. Parts of it I've heard about.
Okay,
no.
Yeah. Well, the funny part in there is the coach, who was a basketball coach, then he takes over the cross country program. He goes out for a run thinking that he can do it in 24 minutes or less, and he literally is collapsing on the ground. Why does anybody do this? And then his son comes and runs too, and he goes, why would anybody want to do this? I know exactly how that is. My brother, who was a year younger than me, we were real competitive in a lot of sports. I could beat him in most of them, but I went to race him one day in long distance, and he just thrashed me. And he said, once we got to my grandmother's house and we decided to run back, he said, you ready to go again? I said, no, I'm getting a ride from grandma. Forget that. So I know that feeling.
Yeah. That's kind of our pace setting in practice. We run with the kids every day, but I tell them, if you are back running the old mom pace, you are not going fast enough at practice. You need to speed up if I'm anywhere near you. You should just be in my sight close enough. So the older I get, the slower the pace gets, and the kids think they're just getting really fast. And I like to let them think that. I think I'm getting slower, but
that's great.
I love that about the sport. It's one of those things that even parents who didn't know anything about it, and you kind of explain them, well, it's kind of like golf, low score wins. And they said, oh, I didn't know we kept score at cross country. So I think it's been fun. I originally was met by some people when they looked at me like I was a little crazy pushing this, because they said, kids don't like to run. Nobody's going to want to join the track or cross country team. And that to me was like a personal challenge that, all right, I'm going to get some kids out here and show them what their abilities can do, and they put a little work into it. So
that's great. That's great. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do our first sponsor here real quick. When we come back, Jay has another question that he'll be ready to ask you. But this is our first sponsor, Diesel Power Plus, with Delton and Ashley Rissler.
Every nation bow before him, bow before my Lord. Let every nation bow before him, bow before my Lord. Rulers and kingdoms will adore and bow before my Lord.
Diesel Power Plus. They're a great group of people out there. Delton and Ashley Rissler. They have a lot of stuff, and Jay is wearing one of their hats on his head right there. You can see it. It's a cool hat, good embroidery. They do a fantastic job, and we appreciate them being our sponsor. Hey, before Jay asks this next question, I want to encourage anybody, if you have any questions or you want to make any comments, feel free to make your comments in the box below, and we will be more than happy to interact with you if you have a question. So, Jay, you're up next, man.
Yeah, just speaking about it being a team sport, I did a lot of reading, especially over the last week, just trying to see a lot of, I've talked with several of these kids from Cal, but I was very interested in the point system. I'd love to hear you talk more about that. But I mean, like even reading some of these articles, this kid's good. What's I want to pronounce his last name right. Is that
Hagemeyer?
Hagemeyer. Yeah.
Kyle Hagemeyer? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kyle, watching him run last year for third place, and then seeing how high he ran this year. But it takes more than one. You have the Grant going. You had the freshman this year that placed pretty
Jackson.
High too. It was just Jackson. It was fun reading everything and seeing how everyone had to place in order to get all those points or little points in order to win. It was really fun.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing to watch. And of course, coaches are running around point to point. And if you've ever been to the state meet, they have this giant scoreboard and it's flipping up numbers as they go through checkpoints, and you're watching where your kids are at. And you know exactly, I know these kids pretty well by now and kind of where they're going to be. And a lot of them went off some experience from last year. The Going twins kind of took out hard and it hurt a little bit in the end last year. They really went out smart, and they taught their teammates that. Kids like Jackson, who's an incoming freshman. Jackson had only acted a few races in junior high, didn't know a lot about it, and he's got an amazing talent. And he's got an awesome attitude. But I talk about that. I think the best experience in this team process has been they're an amazing group of kids that support each other, and they were just always, everybody knew their spot, and they knew that we kind of knew where Kyle would fall and where Cole and Grant and Jackson could be. And then you had Isaiah came in that fifth spot, and in cross country, fifth is the last scoring spot. And you're watching, and I know where Blue Eye is, and they were honestly the favorites to win. I never told the boys that. I didn't really want them to know. I read all the numbers. I read all the articles. I know we were an underdog, but that doesn't deter our effort at all. And those boys just kept at it. And it's an amazing thing for coach to see every kid out there have the best race of their life, put their best effort forth. I mean, Isaiah, I was at the end of the chute waiting for him to come through. He about collapsed through, and he just had spent so much. And even Josh was right behind him, and Matthew, even our seventh man, made that effort. But it was set the tone with Kyle and Cole and Grant and Jackson, and every runner out there pushed. We kept saying, I'd holler, you have to get that blue jersey. You need that red jersey, 2 up. You need 3 more spots. And they just kept pushing forward. And that's how that, people don't think, points. It makes a difference. There's 200. I think there was the most runners in the Class 1 boys race this year at state. And every runner you passed pulled you up in points. And that's what it took. Those numbers were flipping back and forth, and I'm watching it. And I know my fifth man's come across, and I'm watching, and we're still sitting at the top at number 1. And the boys, and you can see it sink in, they're all getting for air, looking at each other, hugging. And those points, it's just monumental what 1 or 2 places can do in a race that size.
That it had to be exciting for you, again, knowing what you thought you knew, and just seeing the effort from those young men and just getting out there. I mean, that had to be a special experience.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's the team as a whole, their families are the best ever. Calvary as a school is so supportive of any effort. And, we had everybody out there or watching. It was a really different year. And the Calvary and the families are amazing. The support they give, even if they don't know what cross country is, they know it's great that you're there, and they know the hard work. The kids always love when you see people with a shirt on that says, cross country practice, your sport is our punishment, running. And the kids get fueled, I think, by those kind of things, and they just push harder. And this was a really special group of seniors. Like I said, some of them have run a long time for my husband and I. We laugh because they just refer to us as the coaches Morris. And we kind of come as a package deal, and he's coached at the junior high. And we actually helped start a program there the same year we started cross country at Calvary. And I think a blessing to get to be able to do that and to see it all come together, where these kids have put in 8 years of work, and they've brought new kids and convinced them to join this team. And they've just molded into this phenomenal group of young men and women. They all work together. Even they were there supporting the girls who are running. And it's just an amazing experience. And I don't know, I think coach can appreciate that doesn't happen every day. And it takes a lot to get there. And you're blessed and fortunate to have that opportunity and that time with those kids.
Well, speaking of the other Coach Morris, tell me what you appreciate about your husband. I saw that he was watching on here too. And if he has any comments that he wants to make, feel free to jump in, Coach Morris, and let us know whatever you want to let us know.
Well, we laugh because the kids have always had us. He coaches the junior high, but he's always been a volunteer assistant. He's there every day at every high school practice too, track and cross country. He throws in some basketball coaching in between. So it's really a family affair. My 4 kids don't really know what life is without coaching and meets, and that's fortunate for us. They've kind of grown up, but it's an amazing support when you have a different relationship. It probably has a challenge if you don't agree on things, but for the most part we do, and the kids respect that, and they get kind of double the support, and they know that they can come to us if there's something they need to talk about, and they know there's 2 of us back there to back them and support them. It's been a special year for us because our oldest 2 kids, our girls, were on the team and we're a part of it. It's funny because I'll laugh and the kids will talk about the fun Coach Morris, and that is not me. So Ty gets to play that role, but he's probably just as hard. But they know that we're both going to push them, and that we're both working together to plan those workouts, to time it right, so the training is just right. At a small school, cross country, one of the challenges is that, especially in the beginning, is convincing kids to run, pushing them and training the right amount with avoiding injury. We talk a lot about diet and nutrition and being a leader and all the aspects besides the actual running portion of cross country. And we have to really balance that. We have 25 other kids on the roster that if somebody goes down, we're gonna put them in. We were fortunate to have an exceptionally talented group of young men, and the alternates and the others could have stepped in. But it's a definite team effort from our family, and that's just a blessing. And I think all of the families that we work with appreciate that. We'll both work with their kids and help them out. That's
great. That's awesome. I know that I mean, you guys got to go home together, so obviously you have to agree, right?
Well, we always, I think, laugh. Our oldest is a senior, and we've always made the comment that it's not always easy being a coach's kid. You can't even go home and gripe about the coach to your parents if you didn't like practice or if you didn't like some decision. You don't even get that out. So I think they'll say it's for the most part been a blessing to have us as coaches. But I'm sure there's moments where you go, gosh, I don't like that workout, but I can't say anything because she's fixing dinner tonight, So
That's great. That's great. Before Jay does his next question, we'll go ahead and do our next sponsor here real quick, and that is CNS Business Services with Paula.
It's time to show what you're made of. At CNS Business Services, we know how to connect employees with employers. We've been doing just that for over 40 years. CNS works with top employers in Central Missouri, placing employees in positions that meet the needs of the employee as well as the employer. At CNS, we take the work out of finding you work. Contact CNS Business Services. It's time to take control of your employment future.
Say yes to CNS.
Paula and her whole team out there at CNS Business Services, they do a fantastic job, and they really help place people in jobs throughout mid-Missouri. And I know that they are looking to fill positions. So if you know anybody needs a job, make sure that you guys reach out, and they will help find one for you. Jay, let's go ahead and go with your next question, sir.
All right. Kind of a 2-part question, because most coaches have a philosophy when they're teaching their student athletes. What have you implemented not only as coach, but also as the athletic director? I kind of want to hear about the athletic director side of you too.
Sure. Well, I am new to the athletic director. This has been an interesting year to become one, for sure. But I, as a coach and as the AD, am very supportive of Calvary's philosophy, and that's building Christian leaders. And I'm very upfront with parents at any sport meeting that we're not here to get your kid a college scholarship. We're here to help them become a good Christian leader. And that is, sports is an avenue to build that on. Those experiences and opportunities in sports give you that chance to be a leader. You go through some tough times. How do you work with the team when it's not going your way? How do you go with the team through the good times and the bad? And we talk about being kind of a well-rounded individual. And that kind of then transcends coaching of being a well-rounded athlete, that, people think running is just the legs or just the lung capacity. It's not. You need an overall strength. You need to be fueling your body. We talk about nutrition and eating. The kids will laugh because every season I will tell them that little Debbie has no place in their life or their lunchbox during my season. And they need to be making good, choices. And we talk about that in general, good life choices, that sports are a way to test these choice-making abilities they have, that, how are you going to react when things aren't going your way? I always say that some of our most character-building moments are seen when we're not successful in sports, when the race is not going your way, when it didn't go that direction. And so I absolutely believe in that sports are that avenue. But I want you to be a good person. I want you to be successful in life. I want you to be able to take any skill you've gotten on the field or the meet and go beyond Calvary and serve and use your skills in a way that will help others and that will enable you to be the best you can be. So that philosophy, I'm fortunate that I feel our coaches at Calvary are all in support of that. And that is our reason for why I feel this. Again, is it a huge bonus to have talented kids and be a part of their life? Absolutely. But I love hearing from them 5 years later and they have a college degree or a job or a family, or they're happy with what they're doing. And some of to hear, they'll say, I'm still running, and I will say, see, that's a lifelong skill. You get stressed, go for a run or go for a walk. But it's to see that these kids have come through some tough times and have that ability to be a leader and to, still be doing what they should be doing.
If I were still running any kind of distance or whatsoever, I do have a little bit of an edge now compared to when I was running back when I was younger. I'm more aerodynamic now. Just the wind just goes right over. But however, it is very cold out, like on a day like today when that cold rain's hitting. So.
A little bit.
Hey, I want to just have you share real quick some of the memorable moments you've had in coaching, as well as at the Special Learning Center. I mean, because you're a big part there, and I know you've seen a lot of amazing things there.
It is. I am blessed to be one of those people that can say I really do love all my jobs, and it's multiple. I mean, I'm a mom, number one, and that's probably the toughest job I think any parent will say. But it's been a blessing how well that has been supported by my jobs. I've been at the Learning Center for 20 years. Been really exciting to get to interweave the two jobs, because we have, before the pandemic time, we have some leadership students from Calvary that will come and volunteer at the Learning Center and maybe get an idea if that is an area they're thinking they want to get a job in. And it's been really exciting because I obviously have a bias and a love for what I do at the Learning Center, and I have a bias and a love for Calvary and those athletes. And so when I can share both of them together and show them what opportunities are out there, it's been amazing. I have a child that just this week I watched take 20 independent steps, and it probably took 15 minutes, and I've had her for a year, and absolutely amazing to watch her go from not being mobile to doing that. And she's, kids like that and kids that have never said a word or called their parent by name. When you hear that language come for the first time, or they make that connection, it's the same kind of feeling in my heart when a kid who said, I've never done a sport in my life, can run 3.1 miles. And it doesn't matter how long it took them. They finished the crosses. They finished that race, saw it all the way through. And then to watch him stay at it and come back to it. We've been so fortunate. We've had some amazing individual talents. We've had 3 individual state champions at track and field, and that has been awesome to watch, and have gone on to have collegiate success. But I'm just as excited for that kid that maybe came in 75th place in their very first race, and they did it. They didn't think they could ever make 3.1 miles, and they did. So it's I get carried away for sure because working with those kids at the Learning Center has just been an amazing experience, and getting to share it with some of my students at Calvary and athletes so that they can see this is out there, and I can say, you know what, you have a heart geared toward this. Please think about doing it. It's amazing to see them grow in that way, things they never thought of. So I tell a lot of the kids that, you know, some of them they're like kids. I get upset for them when things don't go their way. I'm thrilled for them when things do go their way. And you're just as proud of them. And it's a great group. And the parents of any athlete I've have been amazing in their support. And that makes coaching all that more worthwhile when you're having a rough day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know, I know again, all these different young people, not only at the Special Learning Center, but the different young people that you come in contact with at Calvary. Again, you look back on all those things, and I mean, they grow up so fast, but you will have those memories. And I know you have one young little girl that we have done some different work with as far as fundraisers for Redemption Inside the Walls, Leah Hargrove, sweet little girl. And
Mm-hmm.
I know that you can say that just about every one of those students that are there. And
It is amazing to see that change and grow, and see those kids just take off with the support of a team and a family, and that's why you do what you do, right? That's why we're here to serve that purpose. So
absolutely. Hey Jay, you got another question, sir?
Yeah, I'm just blown away. It's just it's so inspirational to hear these stories, and to hear, you know, how much help you've been able to do. Like it's just very cool. So I really appreciate you being on here tonight. It's amazing. Um, Looking towards the future, what's your focus for track, cross country, and other programs moving ahead?
sure. I think that obviously sports are my thing. You wouldn't be in this if you weren't biased. You know, I love to be at the ball games and the meets, and being the athletic director gives you a lot more opportunity. Is that I want to just continue to grow these sports, keep the interest up, keep the kids active. You know, just the other day we had homecoming basketball games. I was talking to some young athletes from some other schools, and you know, of course, I put my pitch in that, you know, the best way to get ready for basketball is to run cross country, you know, or get your speed work in on the track, and you'll be really up and down the floor. But I love seeing the youth come in, and that's why I'm really fortunate that my coach, and I get to see some of those younger kids, and we've been involved there, and just want to continue to grow and build these programs. And mostly I love seeing kids find the confidence from doing a sport they've never done and reaching kind of outside of their comfort zone. Because I think anybody who's run, you know, I know that the first time I did a full marathon, I felt like I was out of my comfort about 3 miles, and there was still 23 more to go. So I love seeing these young kids who are so brave to get out and do that. And I want to see, you know, Calvary programs continue in that way. Especially it's been good to see the kids still putting the effort in. I just talked to my track kids about, hey, it's 1 month, you know, almost until track practice, and we didn't get a season last year. And I just want to see you all get I want to see you get that opportunity, because you love to do this, and I love to see you do it. And I want to keep building those programs. Again, very fortunate to be where I am at Calvary with the support of all the faculty and the staff, and that we get to share God's word and God's mission. And, you know, we get to use that to help encourage these kids.
Very cool.
That is fantastic, because you are developing and rounding out leadership through morals and also through leadership. And you know, that's the kind of people that we need in the world today. And so we're thankful for people like you that are willing to stand up and take that stand and teach and lead. And so we appreciate everything that you do with that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you want to say anything about your kids at all?
My own are, boy, I don't know what we'll do when there's not somebody to be toting around at a meet. I laugh because a lot of the coaches I've been with a lot have watched my own kids grow up, and my own daughter Bailey is a senior, and it's been amazing. You just think that time is never going to come that fast, and it's been wonderful to watch her grow and develop. And she's going to go on to the college level and run and things. And then I've got another daughter, Sydney, who's a freshman, and it's been so cool for Bailey and Sydney to have this year together. I don't know that they always say that, but I think for the most part it'll be fun. they're very competitive, even if they're not in the same thing. And then my daughter Colby is a fifth grader playing basketball right now and starting to learn how to throw and run and can't wait to be a part of a track team. And then my 4-year-old Jay, just turned 5. That's how fast it goes. He just had a birthday. Is ready to go to school, but he has run around probably every course we've been to. He could probably run faster than a lot of the kids. So I'm blessed. I have a wonderful husband and family and support. And you can't do this kind of a thing without that. And they just have gone everywhere with me. I always say that how many 5-year-olds can tell you all 18, 19 events in a track meet. That's been my kids since they were little. They could tell you exactly what events and what order they're going to come in. And they'll tell the parents, oh, no, that's not next. The hurdles are up next. So I'm lucky. And again, and I said, Calvary's a huge support, and special learning centers, they're just great places to work with people who have the same mission in mind.
Well, and it's obvious that you make a difference. My friend Mary Human, she made a comment on here about you that Kerri is the best. The number of young lives she has touched is a true blessing. And so I know a lot of other people think that same thing.
Well, that says a lot because Mary has touched a lot of lives too. She's been a teacher to my kids, and I appreciate all she did. So that means a lot to me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, very good. Hey, do you want to just quickly share about your administrative staff at Calvary Lutheran and what you appreciate about them? And we're just about
Absolutely. All right. Well, real quick, Mr. John Christman is our executive director. He's a leader, I think, especially, and Eric Allers together through this pandemic and through all the challenges. They have held strong. They always have what's best in mind for the kids, as does Melissa Allers. And it's just a super group. My one jokingly says when we have a meeting, oh, it's the Power Four are meeting. And so it's funny when she refers it, but they're so supportive and assisting what you have. And again, I think I knew it was there, but that leadership has been strong during these challenging times. And I greatly appreciate all they've done for the kids. And as a mom and as a coach and an AD out there, they're a great group to work with.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time, and I know that they're very appreciative of everything that you do at Calvary Lutheran, and I know they're appreciative of what you do at Special Learning Center. We've been very honored to have you on here tonight. And again, we've been talking with Kerri Morris, the athletic director at Calvary Lutheran, and also the head cross-country coach in track and field and a whole bunch of other things. But the first ever state championship of any kind at Calvary Lutheran this year. And congratulations on that. And we know that you're looking forward to more to come.
I hope so. I have to throw real quick that our Scholar Bowl team does have a state championship, but we are the first athletic one. And I think that's just a testament to how well-rounded students and athletes they are. And I want to take the chance to thank you, Kirk and Jay. You've made me feel so welcome, and I greatly appreciate the opportunity. I obviously love to talk about Calvary and running, so this was awesome for me.
Well, good. We appreciate you being on here. We hope that you'll come on again with us another time. And as always, we hope we didn't scare you off with anything and that you'll want to do that. So
I think we're good.
Good. If you hold on with us for just a moment, we're going to switch off here, and Jay's going to give the final word, as I always like to let him do. And we're just, again, thank you for being on here tonight.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, Jay.
Thank you, Kerri. Wow, man, she was. I'm always blown away when we do these interviews. I don't know why, but it's, you're going into it, you're trying to figure out, how it's going to go, what stories they're going to share. And I'm just always blown away. And tonight was definitely no exception. Kerri is just a fantastic person. And I can't wait to see how the programs are going to continue to grow and how many more lives are going to continue to be touched. It's just it's something when you see someone find passion in their true calling, it's special. It just it warms your heart, and you know that Mid-Missouri is doing a lot better because of them. So anyways, hats off to you, Kerri. Thanks so much for being on. It was definitely a pleasure for us. Sports Locker Nation, that is time. We have done it. This is an SLM Extra with Kirk DeMars and Jay Gill, and we are super glad that you tuned in. Be sure to share this, like our page, invite your friends to watch, and keep seeing the great content that we try to bring every week.
You didn't let me say a single thing. The only thing left for me to say is thank you, everybody. God bless you, and we will see you next week.